This is KPIX 5 News.
And Chopper 5 live above what's left of that luxury apartment complex after a massive inferno reduced it to rubble and ash yesterday afternoon. Site still smoldering early this morning.
And strong gusty winds continuing to howl throughout the Bay Area. Some of those gusts of 40 miles per hour. How long will that last? We'll talk about it coming up.
And it's getting pretty crowded right now over at the Bay Bridge Toll Plaza. The metering lights have been on for at least a half hour. We'll help you avoid the hot spots coming up.
Intense flames and thick black smoke. It was a sight in San Francisco few people could believe. An entire apartment complex under construction up in flames. KPIX 5 reporter Ann Makovic is live in China Basin, where firefighters are still battling the massive fire that started more than 13 hours ago.
And they are dealing with these extreme wind gusts down here in San Francisco's Mission Bay. You can see the building still standing at this point here behind me, and firefighters have been spraying water on it all night long. From this vantage point here at 4th and China Basin, we see 6 hoses that have been spraying water consistently, and we've seen a couple of flare-ups in the building as well this morning. A couple of walls around the back have already fallen down, and the entire building is still in danger of collapse. Flames shot 40 feet into the air, and burning debris fell blocks away, the thick smoke visible for miles as the fire engulfed this building under construction near Mission Bay.
We're told the workers got off around 3:30 or 4, so it had about an hour to smolder and burn. When we got on scene, it was just in the incipient stages, not a big fire. But once it got going, it really took off.
It was supposed to be a 360-unit apartment complex, and at this point it was made largely of wood, which acted like kindling once the fire began here on 4th Street. Some of the surrounding buildings were also under construction. The biggest challenge for firefighters, keeping it from catching on to the other buildings nearby.
There's housing right here that's under construction. That was threatened at one point, but we applied what we call water curtains to kind of cool the buildings that are close by, because with the radiant heat and the intensity of the flames, these buildings are vulnerable, just like the buildings right across the street.
Well into the evening, as firefighters poured water onto the crumbling structure, the twisted, melted frame became even more fragile. And one firefighter was injured. He has burns on his face, and he didn't even report that until hours into the job.
I put a ladder pipe up to what they thought was a fire just on the roof area. He got a little burned up there, but he didn't cop to it until about 4 or 5 hours later. So he's got transported to the hospital. He's got burns on his face and slight burns on his hands.
All right, back out here live now as the firefight continues this morning. We are going to get an update from city officials on how they're going to deal with the ongoing danger here coming up at about 7 o'clock this morning. So, of course, we'll keep you posted on CBS5.com. Now, the cause of the fire still under investigation. Firefighters are looking into the possibility it had something to do with the ongoing construction, but the construction workers there had left about an hour before this fire was reported. Live in San Francisco's Mission Bay, Ann Makovic, KPIX 5.
And that wind continues. Okay, Ann, thanks. And here's what it looked like right next to the fire. It was tough to breathe as entire neighborhoods were engulfed with all that choking smoke.
And Lawrence joins us now. Those strong winds are making it a challenge for firefighters this morning.
It really is. Not only just fighting that fire, but worrying about possibly other fires starting from embers floating away from that fire scene. Of course, air quality a big concern too, but the good news is because of those winds, we've got a well-mixed atmosphere.
Thank you, Lawrence. The company behind the construction project is working to help determine what caused yesterday's big fire. The complex, part of the Mission Bay 360 project. It is a $230 million development right near AT&T Park in UCSF Mission Bay. It was supposed to be hundreds of apartments selling at $630,000 plus some retail space down below. BRE Properties broke ground on the project a little less than a year ago. The company did thank the firefighters last night. KPIX 5's Kit Doe is live with more on the evaluations that are still in effect, or make that evacuation still in effect this morning for some of the people nearby. Kit?
Yeah, some of the folks, life's slowly starting to get back to normal for them. That's because this is the building that they live in right here. This is the Strata apartment complex at 555 Mission Rock. And if you look right there, the fire is literally right next door. A lot of the embers flew over and contacted with the roof. A lot of the heat melted some of the windows out here. In fact, that ladder truck that you see right there is literally just feet away from the building. So a lot of the people who have chosen to come back home this morning having to deal with that big headache right now. Here's what the scene looked like last night. For at least a few hours, this is the only home a handful of evacuees have.
I was able to go in and grab him real quickly.
Sydney Blom got her dog, but was forced to leave the rest of her belongings behind when the Strata, a high-rise close to the fire, was evacuated.
Our windows were shattered and, yeah, smoky and hot and everything like that.
The fire caused the building scaffolding to collapse and rain down, a danger that firefighters said would mean tenants would not be able to reach their homes for hours.
Just because of all the danger of collapse of the scaffolding of the fire building itself, so they might not have access to their building.
Pierre Leduc was watching from directly across the street at his furniture store when the fire broke out. It started small, but within moments.
And I looked out the window and I saw, oh my God, like half of the building already engulfed with the fire.
The flames got so close that firefighters ordered Leduc to leave the shop for his own safety. Last he heard, his storefront had taken a hit.
I have no idea what's going on with my father. They will let me back in, so I hope it's okay. But the last I heard was all the window was blowing up.
Dawn Pinchasik still wasn't sure she'd be able to get home. Her building, half a block from the flames, shut down its air conditioning system to avoid fueling the wind-whipped flames.
It does make me nervous that it's this close by, and I'm just hoping that the wind stays calm so that nothing jumps over this way.
Staying calm, but keeping watch.
I'm definitely going to have my shoes on and be ready to leave, until I hear that this thing is really out. I don't think I'll be sleeping anytime soon.
And so if you live here at the Strata and you're watching this broadcast from the comfort of friends or family from their home, know that if you're going to come down here, then make the entrance off of Mission Rock. However, you may want to come on foot as parking is a little dicey. Also, you're going to have to step over a lot of broken glass because it looks like the firefighters had to force their way into the building. But once you're here, the security guard will let you back inside the house. We will get some more updated information as a briefing is scheduled for about 30 minutes from now here, so we'll get the latest on this fire effort. We're live in San Francisco. Kitto, KPIX 5.
Thank you, Kit. Images from yesterday's San Francisco fire are hypnotizing. And we've got much more, including more video of the building collapsing. You can check it out at KPIX.com.
And the fire is still affecting roads in San Francisco this morning, Elizabeth.
Yeah, 4th Street is still closed down in both directions. You may have seen behind some of our reporters out there, still a number of fire crews are still trying to put out the remaining hot spots. So 4th, it looks like, is going to be shut down for a while between Channel and Mission Bay. You can get around